So for anyone who doesn't practice with me on a regular basis, my name is Jess. We're going to be working through a yoga foundations class this morning, and I would really love to sink a little deeper into the concepts of sthira sukha. So sthira sukha, very much like prana and apana, are two sides to one coin in our yoga philosophy, and we will unpack it a little bit more through the practice, but it's basically the relationship between your effort, your strength, your stability, and the intricate relationship between that and your ease, your comfortable seat. And so I am going to invite you guys today in each of your poses to find the relationship between both of those things. So it looks like we've got everyone in. Lovely. All right, so for our practice this morning, I am going to be using a block, but if you don't have a block nearby, that's totally fine. Don't panic about it. If you do have a nice big book that you would like to use, you can use what I always like to sort of refer to, a big Harry Potter book or something like that. That's always quite nice. But if you don't have a block, it's really not a big deal. I will instruct you with and without one, but it's always just nice to have that little bit of extra support underneath the sit bones, especially when you're beginning in a nice comfortable seat like this. All right, so whenever you are ready, take your time to come onto your mat and find your comfortable seat. And so for me this morning, it's just going to be a natural cross-legged position. For you, it might be folding your legs back behind you, either side of your hips, and the toes point back towards the end of the mat. There is no right or wrong when it comes to your comfortable seat. It's really just whatever is right or wrong for you. And so really let the eyes soften down and let the body discover its own comfortable shape. Start to inject your mind into the spaces of your body that are perhaps nagging at you and bothering you, and see if you can release those tension points by altering your shape or altering your body. And then as you approach that comfort space, allow the body to become still. Allow the eyes to drop back into their sockets with this sense of ease around the rimming of your eyes. And let the shoulders drop away from the jawline, and the hinging of your jaw relaxes. Sukhasana, or easy seat. So as we sit here in this pose, just for a few beginning breaths, I just want you to become aware of how the body is breathing and how the body is sitting. I love to use props or support under the body in even easy poses as this, because it simplifies the relationship between our body and gravity. When we are in a very expensive relationship with gravity, where we are expending a lot of energy to remain upright and seated, we have less energy available to dedicate to the breath. We have less energy available to dedicate to meditation. because we are concentrating deeply on the discomfort we find in the body. And so to the best of your ability, can you find a position that allows you to be in a cheap relationship with gravity? You can relax through the abdominal wall. You can find freedom through the ribs. And before we begin our practice this morning, I will guide you through 5 very basic compartmentalized breaths. And so wherever you are in your cycle of breath, begin to exhale, purging the breath out through the nose. Remind yourself to keep the face relaxed and breathing in through the nose. Inhale through the heart, ribs, waist, belly. Exhale from the belly, waist, ribs, heart. Inhale to the heart, ribs, waist, belly. Feel the spine is long. Exhale, belly, waist, ribs, heart. Inhale, heart, ribs, waist, belly. Exhale, belly, waist, ribs, heart. Inhale, heart, ribs, waist, belly. Exhale, belly, waist, ribs, heart. Inhale. And exhale. Taking 3 more breaths in. Noticing the movement of your inner shapes, your inner being. Out. The intricacies of this still moment in time where the body is still full of motion. In. And out. This last breath, how can you find more ease? Inhale. And exhale. On the next inhale, circle sweep the arms up towards the sky. Elongate through the spine as you drag the crown of the head up away from the tailbone. And then exhale, bring the prayer down through center, connect the thumbs to your sternum. Gently bow the head towards the hands in a humble moment of deep presence. Now that you are buried in your practice, if there is an intention that has guided you to the mat this morning, something that is you need or something you need to cultivate within, allow that to accompany your practice now. And then in your own time, take an inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. You can open up through your eyes. And as you exhale, take your right hand behind you, left hand to the right knee, and start to twist towards the right. And notice the pressing of the heart towards the right. So if anything, can you scoop the ribs back in? Slide the left lung back a little bit and see if you can twist the belly button towards the right. Soften into your back elbow so that you're not actually locked out through the arm. See if you can keep the elbow nice and soft. And then think about sliding the shoulder blade towards the spine rather than trying to pivot from your straight elbow.
So take a deep inhale, lift the crown of the head up without flaring the rib cage. And then as you exhale, gently spin chin towards right shoulder. And take a deep breath in, anchor down through both sit bones. Deep breath out. And then inhale, gaze forward, reach the arms up towards the sky. Feel that unraveling, all that energy coursing down the body. And then exhale, cross to the other side. So the body starts to spin to the left. You might notice that you're puffing the heart forward. So see if you can slide the rib cage back and in, which will deposit you a little bit more in the sit bones. And then soften into the back elbow. Even if it means that you feel as if your twist is softening, that's okay. And then slide the left shoulder blade towards the spine, lifting up through the crown of the head. 2. Just noticing where your tight bits exist this morning. Breathing into all of those spaces. 1, maybe the chin starts to move towards the left shoulder. Still keeping yourself up nice and proud. And then inhale, gaze forward, reach the arms up towards the sky. Again, maybe feel that warmth trickling down the body. And then exhale, bring your hands to your knees. And if you're sitting on your block, just take it out to the side so that you're sitting down on the earth. And we're going to take a few seated cat-cows. So catch hold of your kneecaps. As you inhale, pull your heart through and tug back on your knees so that you can feel your shoulders pulling back from your jawline. And then as you exhale, round in as the chin comes in towards the chest, lean back on the tailbone and maybe roll back a little bit. Inhale, scoop the heart through, pull it past the shin bones, shoulders suck back as you pull the heart forward. And then exhale, rounding in, chin to chest, open the back body and pull the heart to the back of the mat. 2 more. Inhale, sweep it through. Exhale, roll it back. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, come back to a neutral spine, lift and lengthen. And as you exhale, release your knees out in front, taking your feet side by side. And so all 10 toes point the bottom of the mat. I'm going to take one final twist before we roll over onto the mat. So take your right hand underneath your right leg and catch your left ankle. And then slide that left heel underneath your right leg and draw it in towards your right glute. So coming into Ardha Matsyendrasana, you catch that front heel and you maybe pull that heel in towards the shin. This is option 1. If you know you have a little bit more room, you can shimmy that front heel in front of the knee, or you can take that foot over the leg, but be mindful here of that right hip lifting up. Because if your right sit bone comes up off the floor, you're not going to have a lot of grounding, a lot of that stable space to twist. So if that happens, I want you to bring the foot back over. So think about that solid grounding, that apana action in the earth. So from here, take your right hand behind you. Inhale the left arm high. Feel both sit bones grounded into the earth, anchor into your front big toe. And then exhale, take the elbow across your front knee and gently start to spin your head to the right. So take a deep inhale, lift up through the back of the heart, lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, gently twist a little deeper. Bringing your left lung towards your right thigh for 2. Soften into your back elbow. And you guys might be able to see a little bit better now what I mean by that. So I actually bring a lot of softness into the elbow joint and then I slide the shoulder blade to my spine so I get the twist in the upper back. Just take 1 more deep breath. And then inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, counter twist the other way. So left hand comes behind you. You just use your right hand on the left knee and rotate to the open side. And then inhale, come forward. And then exhale, release. We come to the other side. And taking the left hand underneath the left leg, you catch hold of the right ankle. Pull that ankle over towards the left side of your mat. And then you can guide that left heel in towards the shin bone. And so this is a really nice, spacious variation of the twist. If you feel you've got a little bit more room, you can take the heel to the knee, or you can take it all the way over the leg. But remember, I just don't want that left hip bone lifting up, because if it does, what you'll end up doing is you'll end up twisting end up turning rather than twisting. And so when you're ready, find that stability through that front knee, through that front toe, and then slowly guide your left hand behind you. Take an inhale, right arm reaches high. Exhale, cross the elbow over the front knee. Gaze gently towards the left. Take an inhale to re-lengthen your spine. So glide the heart in and up through the center of your rib cage. And then exhale, soften the back elbow. Slide the left shoulder blade to spine for 3. Anchor into your front big toe. Notice that foot likes to peel up. So squeeze through the inner thigh and get the toe down. 2. Right lung is starting to move towards that front thigh. And you find a little bit more space and spread across the front of the chest. 1. And then inhale, gently gaze forward. Exhale, counter twist the other way. So take the right hand behind you, left hand to right knee, and just create a nice open twist. And then inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, fold the legs back behind you and take your way into a child's pose. And so you're welcome to take the knees as wide as the mat today if you like. Big toes touch behind you. This is what we would call a wide-legged child's pose. But if you'd like more of a traditional child's pose today, you can keep the knees together, rounding the belly over the thighs and letting the heart anchor on top of the knees. And there is no real right or wrong. There's just 2 different intentions. And so when we take a wide-legged child's pose, it starts to introduce quite a lot of openness in the hips. And considering that's where we'll be going today, it might be nice for your body to sort of practice that opening in a little bit more of a passive space. And so I'm going to get you to take 3 more breaths here. And I want you to find softness. I want you to find a sense of ease through the upper arms. So relax into the elbows. Relax the shoulders down. But then I want you to find this sense of stability and solidness through the hips. Notice that both sensations can coexist. Taking 1 more breath, let the heart gently tug forward away from the tailbone as you inhale. And as you exhale, the tailbone draws to the back of the mat. On the next inhale, start to rise into a tabletop. Draw your hands underneath your shoulders and bring your knees in underneath your hips. On the next inhale, lift the tailbone towards the sky. Slide the heart through the gate of the arms and gaze forward to the top of your mat. And then exhale, round up and in. Tuck your tailbone. Curl your chin in toward your chest. And press the back of the heart to the sky. Inhale, lift the tailbone. Lift the heart forward through the arms. Open across your collarbone nice and wide. And then exhale, rounding in, pushing the back of the heart towards the ceiling, out through the shoulder blades. Inhale, tailbone, belly, heart, gaze. Exhale, tail, belly, heart, and gaze. Take 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, come back to a neutral spine. And as you exhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees and move into your first downward facing dog as the hips press up and then back to the back edging of your mat. And so we create this sort of capital A shape with the body, where the tailbone becomes the apex of your shape. And your first downward facing dog might feel a little bit short because we've come up from a tabletop, and that's totally okay. But use this as an opportunity to feel into all the edges of your shape. And so spread your fingertips nice and wide like a high five. Firm down through the thumb mound. Firm down through the pinky finger. So every single finger is meaningfully planted on the floor. And then for the sake of really figuring out where our center balance is, I want you to inhale, suck the shoulders up towards the ears, as if you're pushing really firm down into the floor, shrinking the space in your neck. And then exhale, pull the shoulders all the way back, lengthening the ears out, and notice as you slide the shoulder blades down your back. Inhale, suck the shoulders up towards the ears, maybe you even feel the shoulders sort of just draw up to the earlobes. And then exhale, pull all the way back. Now on the next inhale, I want you to go halfway. So guide the shoulders towards the center line of those two boundary points where you're pressing nice and firm into your hands, but the shoulders aren't drawn up all the way to the ears. They're only about halfway. So you feel this strength starting to draw up your arm bones. And then think about rotating the outer armpits back, softening the low belly. Take an inhale. Then exhale. I know the arms getting tired. Start to cycle the inner thighs towards the back of your mat. Take a deep inhale, come up onto the toes. And then exhale, walk your feet to the top of your mat. Big toes touch, bit of a gap between the heels. Take an inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Bring the fingertips to your shins. I want you to lift your heart space up so it's parallel to the floor and look down rather than looking forward. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, take the belly to thighs, draw the chin in towards the chest and roll into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, fingertips to shins, shoulder blades slide back so you've got heaps of space between shoulders and ears, crown of the head reaching away. Exhale, fold in. Starting to feel the back chain of the body opening, creating sensation. One more inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. If you have a really nice sort of open chain in the back, you might like to keep the fingertips on the floor. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Anchor down through your heels. Inhale, roll your spine one vertebrae at a time. So the arms remain heavy, the chin is in your chest, and you very slowly unwind as you exhale. The shoulders will roll back. The head will stack above the ribs. You take an inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, prayer comes down through center, remain standing. Samastitihi. Take a moment feeling into all four corners of your feet. So I like to pick up my toes and spread them nice and wide, finding my sense of groundedness. And notice where you sort of push your weight. So sometimes we push all of our weight in towards our toes and we sort of jam the front of the hip bones forward. Or sometimes we actually push the hips back and we lean back into the heels a little bit. So can you find the two boundary points as you rock your weight towards the toes and the heels? And then can you settle your weight right through the center of your feet and then draw up through the inner arches? And so notice that it sort of gathers the outer glutes and it gathers the outer thighs behind you as you try to firm into the outer heels but lift the center of your feet. Take an inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. Keep all this power and stability in the legs. And then exhale, fold, Uttanasana, drawing in. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Lift up through your heart. I want it to pull through the arms just like your cat-cow. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana, soften a little into the knees. Plant your hands, bend into the knees and step your right leg back as far as you possibly can so that you can lower the back knee and come into a low lunge. Bring your hands to the front knee, take an inhale, push the knee away. So you lift the belly up off the thigh, you lift the heart space up off the knee. Deep inhale. And deep exhale. And so coming into our first sort of lunging pose, I really want you to start finding that relationship between sthira sukha. So stability grounding. On your exhale, can you feel the depth of your legs? Push into the back shin bone so that you've got this nice grounded rudder behind you, and that will give you some stable sensation in that right thigh. Can you spike down into your front heel as if your front shin bone is really nice and strong? And I want you to push so much into the front heel that you actually come out of the front hip a little bit, and then think about scissoring the hips together. Now, if you've got all that, inhale, can you reach the arms up and find this really nice gentleness in the upper arms while the legs stay really stable, strong, supportive. The arms are open and free, easy. Take a nice big deep breath. And then exhale, sweep your left hand back. Let it find the hamstring behind you, and can you find a nice little twist? So we're going to hold for 3 breaths. I want the legs to stay really strong. Inhale right through the front side of the rib cage, right through the front side of the lungs, and think about lifting the front of the sternum up as that right hand just brush strokes back. Maybe you walk down the leg. 2. And only go as far as the body allows. Your body might not necessarily go where mine goes, and that really doesn't matter. 1. What matters is that you move just as deeply as your stability allows. So if you lose connection to your stability, then come back and find it. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky, press firm into the front foot. And then exhale, bring the press straight down through center. Lengthen into a half splits. So rock your rock your hips back, peel up through your front toes, and can you find a balancing half splits? You may need a little bit of padding underneath that right knee, so feel free to slide something underneath it or roll up the edging of your mat if you need to. And if you're wobbly, that's okay, I am too. But really pull back through the left toes so that it's as if the toes are trying to pull back to the face. And then firm the outer thigh as if you're hugging the outer left thigh back for 2. If you really need to take the hands down to the earth, then go for it. But maybe you're really trying to practice your stability, your balance today. Maybe you can lengthen the belly down the thigh a little bit more, sliding the heart past your kneecap. 1. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. Keep that front leg straight. Use your back shin bone as a rudder. And then exhale, bend into the knee. Reach the fingertips back behind you. A little bit of a low arrowhead pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. Press into the front leg. Maybe lengthen into the front knee quite a lot. And then exhale, reach the fingertips back behind you. Find arrowhead pose as the heart slides past the knee. So I'm leaning my head forward. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen it up. And then exhale, bending in. Fingertips pull to the back of the mat. This time I want you to add the back leg. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. Inhale, reach up to high lunge. Keep your front knee bent. Exhale, arrowhead pose. Tug the fingertips towards the back of the mat. Push into your back toes so it's like you're trying to use your back foot to push the crown of the head to the top of the mat. Inhale, reach it up. High lunge, lift through the back knee, lift through the back thigh. Exhale, take the hands back, lean the heart forward, press into your back toes. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, reach it back. Perfect. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And as you exhale, find warrior 1. Spiral the back heel down. You might reach your heel to heel alignment, but for me personally, I really like to widen my feet a little bit more in a warrior 1 rather than actually keeping the feet in one line. I like to drop my feet more on train tracks. It just gives a little bit more room to the hips for me, and it sort of brings a little bit of liberation across the low back. And so if you like to widen your feet, make sure you do so. And a warrior 1 is very rarely as long as a warrior 2. So feel free to shimmy that back foot in. Take an inhale, start to elevate through the low ribs. Find this sense of lightness in the heart. And as you exhale, I want you to anchor into the front hip, spike down into the front heel, and find this ability of the front leg to support you. And notice which sensation steals you away more. So we all have our own unique energetic composure. And some of us will lean a little bit more towards stability, and others will lean a little bit more towards that sort of airiness, that lightness, that softness. And so notice which sensation really pulls your awareness more. What challenges you more? The ability to find softness and lightness, or the ability to find stableness. I'm taking one more deep breath. And as you exhale, take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers in one big fist. Can you keep the inner wrist stitching together? And then inhale, trace a line down your glute with your thumb as the knuckles press to the floor. And then exhale, bow to the inner thigh, humble warrior. As you come all the way down, let your hands pull over the back of your head. For 3, gaze towards your back heel. You need to keep your front knee bent here. That's where your stability comes from. 2, really loosen into the back of the neck. And think about letting go of the shoulders. Lift your knuckles up towards the sky. One more breath. And then inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, turn your heart to the right and turn your toes to the long edge of your mat. So I'm going to turn around just so you guys can see me, but you guys are going to be facing the right. And we're going to take goddess pose. So gently turn your toes outward and turn your heels inward. Arms are out by your sides. You take a deep inhale, reach them all the way up. And then exhale, sink your tailbone straight down through center as you bend into a nice wide squat. And so you don't want the feet too close together, because if they are, you're going to be sort of more in a malasana shape. And if you can keep your heels underneath your knees and your shins sort of fall quite straight, this is going to give you that nice deep stretch and sensation through the inner socket of the hip. So can you keep your arms out? This pose is a really good one to practice that balance between sthira sukha. So starting to anchor down into your heels. I know this one is really juicy, you guys. I'm already feeling it. I want you to think about plugging your thigh bones into your hip socket. Feel all that strength, all that stability drawing up from the earth. And how can you find a little bit more lightness through the arms? So can you soften into your elbows? Can you maybe move your hands? Can you maybe soften the belly enough that you can inhale all the way down? Exhale, settle in. You've got one more breath. Inhale. Find your comfortable seat even in all of this sensation. And then inhale, take your hands to the insides of your knees. Push the knees open with your hands so it really takes the pressure off the lunge. So now I've got very little weight in my feet. I'm actually using my hands to push the inner skin of the knee away. And as you exhale, drop the right shoulder down through center and look up over your left shoulder. Keep the tailbone sinking down and you'll get a really nice stretch through the right hip. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, push the left knee away. Drop the left shoulder down through center and gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale, come up through center. You got one more each side. Exhale, push it away. Inhale. And exhale, soften all your edges. Inhale, come up through center. Reach the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, fold forward as you turn your toes inwards and push your heels outwards. Wide-legged forward fold. Take your fingertips to the floor or maybe to your block. As you inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Come up out of the lunge so that your spine is straight. And then exhale, plant down through your palms. See if you can keep your spine nice and long, heart tugging through the arms. And maybe you start to soften into your elbows as you fold. For 3. So I very rarely Don't even really worry about taking my hands back between my feet until I know that I can sort of lower my nose down towards the floor and keep my spine straight. 2. So with each inhale, I try to slide my sternum further away from my waist. And can you think about lifting up through the inner arches of your feet and tugging up through your thighs? 1. On the next inhale, walk the hands out in front of you, coming back. And as you exhale, walk your hands towards the top of your mat. I'm going to spin to the back of my mat just because I spun around. So you're framing into that left foot. You take an inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. And then exhale, step back to a plank. Frame into that front foot and step the left foot to the back of the mat. Now, if you're taking it easy in your practice today, you can always drop your knees in your plank. But if you're really trying to build some strength in your practice, try to keep the knees up and try not to hike the hips too high. So is there a way that you can keep the hips sinking down in line with your shoulders, but think about lifting the front of the thighs up? Take an inhale, lengthen the heart through your arms without dropping the shoulders. And then exhale, chaturanga. Maybe drop the knees, bend your elbows and come down halfway. Inhale, cobra pose. Drop the hips, lift up through the heart and pull the heads of the shoulders back away from the jaw as you firm down through your toes. Take a deep inhale where you are. Deep exhale where you are. I'm going to give you the option to move a little bit deeper, but if this already feels like enough, then stay where you are. On the next inhale, maybe you press down through the hands. Keep the feet really strong and lift up a little bit higher. For 3, high cobra. Shoulders remain down. So none of this. I want heaps of space between the ears and the shoulders. Press the shoulders down as the earlobes lift up. 2. Press a little bit more into your legs. Find strength, grounding, freedom through the heart. 1. And then gently lower all the way down to the earth. And then exhale, back, tabletop. Realign your knees underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. And as you inhale, take the right arm up towards the sky, preparing for thread the needle pose. Exhale, take the hand underneath the left, sweeping it as far across the mat as you can. And then inhale, spiral the right arm to sky. Breathe across the right breastbone. And exhale, take it underneath. Taking one more inhale, all the way up. Exhale, underneath, we're going to hold. And so sink down to your right shoulder. If the temple lands on the floor, then let it go there nice and easily. But if it doesn't, maybe slide a block underneath it. And if you'd like to work towards a little bit of a balancing pose with me today, I'll give you the option to move a little bit deeper, but you can stop at any point where you just feel really nice, or you feel really stable, or you feel a sense of joy in your shape. And so start to firm down through your right arm as if you're pushing the back of your right arm down in the earth. Take an inhale, extend your left leg back behind you, and tuck your toes and plant them on the back of the mat. So you can stay here. This feels really nice through that right upper back. If you want more, inhale. Take the left arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, take the hand behind you, tuck it in towards either the right kidney, the right hip, or maybe the right thigh. You can stay here, rolling that top elbow open to the sky. Think about rolling the left chest towards the ceiling. If you want more, you need firm pressure through your right arm. You take an inhale, hover that left leg up parallel to floor for 3. For 2, where can you create stability? Belly draws up and in. Where is there freedom in the breath? 1. Inhale, take the left arm up towards the sky. Exhale, hand and knee connect to earth. Inhale, right arm spills up towards the sun. Open it up. Ooh, exhale, take the hand down to the earth. Inhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees. Exhale, press back into the depth of your downward facing dog. And take a moment to be here. Deep inhale. And deep exhale. For 3, seeing if you can drive down some energy through the outer heels and find that balance in the shoulders that we created at the beginning of the practice. And then if you can really anchor yourself in the extension of your spine, can you think about lifting your low back in a diagonal line away from your shoulders? So you're trying to spike up through the sit bones in a bit of a Y shape behind you. One more breath. Beautiful. On the next inhale, come high onto the toes, bend into your knees and walk the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle sweep the arms all the way to the sky. Strong through those legs. Exhale, press softens down through center. Inhale, prayer rises. Move with a sense of mindfulness. Exhale, fold. Inner thighs keep drawing to the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Elongate the front side of your body here. And then exhale, draw in, Uttanasana. Plant down through the hands, soften your knees, and step your left leg back. Step it as far back as you can, drop the back knee, and then take your hands to the front knee, coming up into your low lunge. And so take your time to find it. And again, if you want a little bit of extra padding underneath that back knee, remember you can always roll up the edging of your mat, or maybe you grab a little bit of a cushion or something to slide underneath it. And then recognize where you just dump into the body. So it's really easy for me to sort of just dump into my hip joint here and sort of hang out in the joint, but that's not creating any stability. So we really want to create that nice balance between effortlessness and effortfulness. So push down into the front heel a little bit so that you come out. Find that nice comfortable right angle in the front leg, but keep your palms pushing into the knee. So it's the heart that's starting to lean back, not so much your hips dropping forward. And then how can you bring a little bit more stability into the back leg? Can you push down through the shin bone? Can you zip the front of the hip forward rather than spilling it back? And can you draw the lower belly in and up? So rather than being like this, you sort of zip the front of your jeans up and in, but still let the breath descend. Take one more breath. And then inhale, maybe you reach the arms up towards the sky. Find that sense of ease. Remember the back shin bone is pushing into the earth. So your legs should actually feel really strong. It should feel like there's a lot going on. Even though we're in a low lunge, I don't know about you guys, but my legs are trembling. I'm working them so hard. And when we get this deep into our alignment and we get this deep into our cues, this is where we do find a lot of that shaking, a lot of that effort. So find a sense of ease through the arms. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, circle the right arm back. Let it find the hamstring. You don't have to lean back. You don't have to take a back bend. Take an inhale. Just think about lifting up through the left hand. Elongate the left waist. And as you exhale, keep all the stability in the legs. Maybe you walk the hand down towards the calf. You don't have to. This is completely optional. For 3. I still want you to be able to stay connected to the breath, and I want you to feel the stability of the legs with this sense of freedom and lightness through the upper body. 1, And then inhale, draw the arms all the way up. Exhale, prayer comes down through center. Find your balancing half splits. And so you push back out of that front leg and the front leg lengthens. You might need to slide that front heel forward a little bit, especially if you have longer limbs than me, which really isn't hard. I'm quite short-limbed. And so adjust your pose however you need to so that that back knee stays underneath your back hip and your front leg is nice and long. And maybe you're staying upright. Maybe you're not coming into your forward fold at all, but suck back through your right toes. So it's almost as if there's a wall in front of your front foot. And then you inhale, lift and lengthen out of your belly button. And then exhale, maybe you just start to lean forward with a straight spine. So try not to round into the upper back. With each inhale, I want you to pull the sternum forward. Notice the little wobbles. Have you gone slack in the back shin? Can you push it down? Two. Find ease, softness in breath. Duality of existence. One. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Good job. And then exhale, frame into the front foot as you bend into the knee. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. We come into that arrowhead pose variation. So keeping the back thigh up, keeping the back knee up. You inhale, the arms move forward and up. High lunge. Keep your front knee nice and strong, spike down into the heel. Exhale, reach the fingertips towards the back of the mat. Push into your back toes so that the heart moves past your front knee. Inhale, reach the arms up, lengthen across the front side of the body, lift your gaze forward, chin parallel to floor. Exhale, arrowhead pose, fingertips tug to the back of the mat. You use your back toes to push you forward. Inhale, reach it up. I just realized we didn't do this on the floor, so we went straight into the hard one. Exhale, reach it back. You guys have got it. This time, inhale, sweep it all the way towards the sky. And then exhale, find warrior one, spiral the back heel down. If you'd like to adjust your stance, remember that you can widen your feet to the outer, not to the outer edges, sorry, just widen them so that they're resting on train tracks rather than heel to heel alignment. This is completely optional. Everyone's pose is going to be a little bit different. And stay as you are, but I'm just going to switch sides so again that I can stay facing forward. And so start to sort of draw your left armpit forward as if you're trying to rotate your outer left ribs towards the front of the mat, but firm into the outer edge of the back foot. Don't let that back leg sort of come up away from the earth. Two, lower belly draws in and up. Again, where can you find stillness, heaviness, weightedness? And how does that contrast to lightness in the body? Where does the lightness exist? Where can you offer a little bit more? Take an inhale, reach up out of the fingers. Exhale, take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Take your awkward grip. So whichever pinky finger normally lands on the bottom, switch it to the other side. And then inhale, trace a line down your glutes as the knuckles push to the floor. Strong bend in the front knee. Exhale, humble warrior. Bow to the inner thigh. Let the hands come over the back of the head. Chin draws into chest. Deep inhale, reach up through the knuckles. Deep exhale, soften across the front sides of the shoulders. Two. Loosen into the jaw, soften the back of the neck. Stability in the legs. Ease in the upper body. One. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. Keep the strength in the legs. You've got it. And then exhale, open the arms out like you would a warrior two, but turn your toes to the long edge of your mat. And then turn your toes outwards, heels turn inwards. We're going to take that goddess pose one more time. Take an inhale, lift and lengthen up out of the heart. And then exhale, settle deep into the knees. Come down to this wide squat. And it is really nice to sort of sway from side to side. If you feel like you need a little bit of that juiciness in the knee joint or the hip joint, take a little sway side to side. And again, that sort of helps to connect you with that fluidness of the joint rather than rigidness, which really is the depth of that relationship between sthira and sukha, because it's showing you how you can have strength without rigidity, and you can have fluidness without weakness. Lower belly gathers up and in. You've got one more breath. Anchor down through those sit bones. Sit into the uncomfortableness and be strong. Take an inhale, take your hands to the inner knees, push the knees away. Take the pressure off the stretch. And then exhale, drop the right shoulder through center and gaze up over the left. Keep the sit bones down. So resist the urge to lift the hips up. I want you to keep dropping the sit bones down. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, push the left knee away, drop the shoulder down. Ooh, see if you can get a nice deep stretch through the inner thigh. Inhale, center, one more. Exhale, push the right knee away, shoulder drops through center and you twist the heart to the left. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. Lovely. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And as you exhale, turn your toes inwards, push your heels outwards and bow into your wide-legged forward fold. We're almost done, you guys. So as you plant your hands down on the earth, I'm just going to guide you through 3 breaths of sort of cat-cowing the spine, because I find a lot of people here have a really hard time getting their spine straight. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your body. It just means that we're tight in certain spaces. So by creating movement in those spaces, we can bring a little bit more awareness to what it is we're looking for. So I want you to come up onto your fingertips, find your halfway lift, inhale. And as you exhale, angry cat your spine. Curl your chin in towards your chest, push out through the back of your heart, and really round the shoulders to the ears. Inhale, find your cow spine, lift the tail up, slide the heart through your arms, gazing past your mat. Exhale, round up and in, curl the front of the body in, chin to chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen, find that cow spine. And then can you exhale, soften your elbows, keep your cow spine. Just take one more breath here. Soften the belly. Awesome job. Inhale, walk the hands back. And then exhale, walk the hands to the front foot as you spin the front toes forward. We're going to take it all the way back to your plank. You inhale, step the right foot back. And then exhale, chaturanga. Remember, you can drop your knees. You come down halfway. The elbows stay nice and close to the ribs. Cobra pose. Drop the pelvis. Inhale, lift up through the front of the heart. Shoulders tug back. And you might even have your wrists so far back that your fingertips are in line with the nipples. And I want you to draw the inner elbows into the waist. One more breath. Firm down through your toes as if you're lifting your kneecaps off the floor. This should still be a strong pose. The option to come into high cobra. Inhale, press down through the hands. Start to lift up through the heart. Keep the legs really strong. 3. Shoulders soften down away from the earlobes. 2. Breathe down through the front side of the abs. 1. Beautiful. Inhale. And exhale, soften down. We take our final little balancing twist. Inhale, come up to tabletop. Walk the knees forward so that they stack underneath the hip bones. Right hand lands underneath the right shoulder, and then you inhale, sweep the left arm up to sky. Exhale, send it underneath the right side, thread the needle pose. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, up. Exhale, under. And then hold here, drop down to that left shoulder. Drop down to the temple if it has easy access to the mat. If not, slide a block underneath it. And push nice and strong down through the back of the arm so that you get that nice stretch through the shoulder blade. For you, sometimes it might even be down through the tricep, depending on where your tightness lives. Notice if the belly is slacked off, let it slide in and up. And if you'd like to move that a little bit deeper with me, you're going to tuck your right toes and shoot them to the back of the mat. Keep that left arm really strong. It's going to keep you nice and stable. If you want to move a little bit more, you can inhale, right arm high. Exhale, drape it around toward your back hip, maybe back thigh. And if you've got it, I want you to really roll that right elbow open. Draw the front of the right rib cage in. And if you've still got more in you, you can inhale, hover the right leg up. 3. Be in the challenge. 2. How can the belly support you? Where is your strength? And 1. Inhale, lift the right arm high. Exhale, hand and knee come to the earth. Inhale, left arm high, open it out, bring the breath down the left side. Ooh, exhale, take the hand to the floor. Nice job. Inhale, lift the tail, lift the heart forward, find your cow spine. Exhale, cat spine, round it in. Let's take one more. Inhale. And exhale. And then gently extend your legs, come all the way down onto the belly. And just roll yourself onto your back. And if you do have a block or you do have a nice big book that you can use, or maybe even a couple of pillows or a bolster, feel free to take a nice restorative sort of back bend here. You can grab your prop, whatever it may be. Bring your heels underneath the knees and start to lift your hips up so that you can slide your block, your bolster, your pillow, whatever it is you have underneath the low back. And it's really important that you don't pop the prop all the way up here, especially if it's a pillow. I see a lot of people do this with their bolster. They take the bolster up so high that the tailbone hangs off the back edge of the bolster or the block. And this really isn't nice for your spine or the muscles that support your spine. So lift it up and slide it down a little bit more to the sacrum, that nice sort of flat, bony part of your spine, the base plate of your spine, so that it feels like your tailbone's pointing to the wall, same as your toes, rather than the tailbone pointing down to the floor. Now you might like to just stay exactly as you are. Just allow yourself to find this restorative place. Some people like to open their arms out to a T. Some people like to even sort of bend into the elbows and guide the fingertips together above the head, creating this sort of halo around the head. Let the inner thighs relax. And if it feels all right for the low back, you might even really like to lengthen the legs out straight. And if you don't have a prop, don't panic. You can just lengthen the legs out straight and melt into your traditional Shavasana. Allowing the eyes to close down. The face just melts away any remaining expressions. And I invite you with each exhale to sink into your base, whatever that may be for you. Let a sense of heaviness just wash over the limbs as the muscles fall away from the bones. And find yourself residing in this comfortable space. Absent of effort. Full of ease. And if you can scan your body, looking for any areas that are resisting gravity. Entice yourself to let them go. Notice a sense of ease in your breath. Notice the fight just melting out of the body. And this warm, comfortable inner space is your home. the only place you would really like to be. In your stillness, just start to deepen your breath. Prioritizing this sense of ease, but feeling stable in your mental space, stable in your breath. Can you create a sense of ease and lightness through the body? You can start to wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes. Maybe you start to circle the joints. Smoothing over the skin in between your eyebrows. And if you have your prop beneath you, you're going to take your time to just bend back into the knees. Gently lift up your hips and slide the prop out. And before you lift, you might like to take a little windscreen wiper of the knees side to side. Or maybe you want to draw the knees in towards the chest and take a little twist side to side. Really let your body dictate this moment. And in your own time, just gently roll off to one side, keeping your eyes closed if you can. And you can press yourself up to a comfortable seat, facing what feels like forward on your mat, but knowing that it really doesn't matter anyway. What matters is that you rise feeling anchored and stable within the self, finding your comfortable seat, asana. Gently drawing the hands toward your heart space, guide your mind back to the intention that you set yourself at the beginning of your practice. Allow that intention to be fully materialized in the tissue of your body. You become the vessel of this intention, this material manifestation of a thought, of an idea that becomes real. Gently guiding your hands toward your third eye, connect your thumb to that spiritual, intuitive place. Gently bow your head towards your heart, surrendering the mind to the feeling heart space. As we humbly acknowledge this opportunity we have to practice yoga, to learn more about ourselves and the world around us through peace and love and sincere gratitude. And thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste. Thank you, my beautiful friends. Feel free to take your time. If you need a little bit of extra meditation, then feel free to remain here or lie back on your mat. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you can get out in the sunshine a little bit. And hopefully I'll be seeing you guys on the mat in person really, really soon. Lots of love, guys.